It's currently 5:30 in the morning. I got up kind of early, around 5 a.m. to catch like the first early morning light, and I came down to the bay of the fjord here, because like where the river meets the bay. I was hoping to maybe find a moose kind of like drinking out of the river or by the river. I think it would make such a nice photo, but I read on their website that there might be a chance to encounter here with a moose, so I'm hoping maybe I get lucky. But right now I'm just kind of looking over the bay here. So I'm keeping today open. This is like my third day. I'll probably have like a full day of photography at sunset and now at sunrise. And yeah, I think I'm gonna focus on chasing wildlife today, because it's kind of like my last good day here of exploring. Because tomorrow morning I gotta wake up early, drive to the next location, which is Gaspesie National Park, and I'll be taking a ferry across the river to get me there. So I should be at the ferry by 9:30, so I won't have much in terms of photography tomorrow, maybe a little bit at sunrise. But the weather looks for rain tomorrow, so I doubt it's going to be any good. So today I want to take advantage of what I have and try to get some shots. Sometimes in wildlife photography, when you include a little bit of the environment, can be made for an appealing image. What I do like about this photograph, it's a bit more artistic. It's got that repeated pattern of the reflections in the water, and having the duck right down the middle, the center of my frame, makes it something that breaks away the pattern. It's a bit more artistic. It makes you look a little closer, and it has a lot of the environment. It's quite minimal. Other than that, I didn't have much luck this morning with getting a lot of different wildlife that I was anticipating, but it was still fun to be out and trying. I think what I'm gonna do right now, I have a few hours before sunset, and I do have a picture in mind at low tide for sunset if the light's nice, that I might resort back to take a picture from a different perspective from at the bay here. It could be really interesting. I have a nice foreground, but honestly I'm not sure how the light's gonna do, because there's not any direct sunlight. It's just kind of like pretty overcast right now. So I have a few hours before sunset, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use those hours to kind of practice the power of observation and patience, because I think with wildlife you can't just imagine that you're gonna be walking and it's just gonna be within that 2-minute window you're passing an area. There's just gonna be the right circumstance where you have everything line up. I think it requires patience and observation, and perhaps getting a little bit lucky. Despite hearing all the bird songs, I couldn't for the life of me find any decent wildlife. All I got was one picture of this bird. Quite nice, but hey, not what I intended to. So I changed up locations and I moved to a second spot and switched out my telephoto lens for my wide angle lens. And I think the picture that I took earlier of wildlife aren't exactly award-winning photographs, but it was a good practice for wildlife photography. But right now I'm getting serious about landscape photography. I have a nice composition, and as the tide retreats I'll be able to get closer to the rocks and photograph those. But just in the meantime I'm gonna start off with one shot here, and yeah, I hope that I don't regret this decision switching from wildlife to landscape, because my worst fear that I'm gonna take off the lens and put on a wide angle lens, and then next thing you know you're gonna get birds flying, falcons, mooses showing up everywhere, and you're not even ready to take the picture, and this whole time waiting to photograph them they're nowhere to be found. But it's rare that that's the case, but if that happens I'm gonna be really not very happy about that. But I quite like the scene that I got, so I do want to get this picture, because I won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm off to Gaspesie National Park, and I have to get up early to catch the ferry to cross the St. Lawrence River, so that'll be an exciting day for me, just to switch locations and go to a new park. Hopefully I'll get some different pictures there, from wildlife to landscape. But just for now I'm gonna talk about this picture that I'm taking. I just set up my camera I'm at 24 millimeter and just framed up a nice composition with some of the grasses and the rocks. On this trip I kind of rediscovered my passion for shooting long exposure and getting creative with filters. So definitely with this scene there's a little bit of clouds in the sky. It's quite dynamic and the water's kind of moving, so I think I want to smooth that out to create a dreamy picture. So first thing I'm going to start off with a Nisi circular polarizer here. I'm going to put it on and see what how that looks, you know. I just like to build it up step by step instead of all at once. If I find that I'm just happy with a circular polarizer, I'll just do just that. But if I want to stack more filters, probably I think I'm going to go for the same thing I did with my first day here. I'm going to shoot with all three filters, circular polarizer, and then defilter, 6-stop and defilter to go for long exposure. Even if it was just 10 seconds, it's just enough to give it some element of smoothness on the water. So I definitely quite like it. I don't have to go extreme. And because the sky looks brighter than the foreground, probably just a grad and D just to kind of balance out the whole scene, because my foreground is in shadow and the sky is brighter. So I definitely want to do it all in camera, and I think kind of on this trip I rediscovered how fun it is to use filters. Even though the cameras are getting so good, they probably don't need to most of the time, but it's fun being creative in the field. Some of these rocks are a bit wet because it was at high tide, so definitely a polarizer helps get the glare off and boost the color. So all the sand that's wet, all the rocks that are wet, the polarizer just got right through it, and it makes a huge difference in your photos. It definitely adds something. So yeah, got my composition set up. I think I'm gonna put a 6-stop and D filter right now, and the grad ND for the sky. It's definitely gonna go all at once and see how it goes. Take another picture without anything. Just like I said, I like to build it up. It's good to take a picture at every stage and kind of compare how it looks. And yeah, eventually I'm gonna come a bit closer, and just in between the rocks there's a gap. I might frame a shot through the rocks. I think it'll be a nice way to frame the scene. But I'd like to do a shot here just as a backup, and then I can experiment a little bit more, trying different composition. Definitely today the conditions are way better than yesterday for photography, because yesterday there was no clouds, clear blue skies. I definitely hate clear blue skies. There's no interest. Today there's just much more clouds in the sky, much more dynamic. So definitely gonna enjoy that. With the 6-stop and D filters give me 5 seconds at f11, which is just what I want. If it gets a bit darker, the light, I'll definitely can go a bit longer. But I think that's good for now. Pretty happy with that. I think what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put on my grad ND. Take a test shot and see what we have. Hopefully it's looking really, really nice. But definitely I think I have way too much foreground, but it's nice. Some of the grasses and the rocks and the whole scene makes sense, but it's too much sandy beach for me. At low tide that's what's gonna happen. But I think definitely I'll move a bit closer and recompose, because I have a different composition in mind. But I'll probably use the same filters anyway, but I just wanted to do a test shot and see how it looks. This is currently my shot. I'm definitely using these grasses in the foreground right here, and these two rocks kind of in the center, and you can see the fjord in the middle. And I do like this little bit of grass here as well. It adds a little something to the photograph. And this is what I meant to say, that I like a little bit of water, because when the tide retreats, it's just going to be sand here. I think having it water is more interesting. So this picture only works now, might not work later, and light's fading quick,
but at least you can see from the clouds, it's really dynamic. The clouds much better than yesterday. This is kind of what I like sometimes, just to have a little bit more drama in the clouds in the sky. So it's looking really nice. I'm pretty happy with this picture. I think like I'm getting a bit of dabbled light on one of the cliffs on the right. It's giving it much more interest. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think definitely makes my day worthwhile. I think like this is one of those pictures now is the best time to take it, because like I said, as soon as the water retreats out of the two rocks, it loses that interest, and so I'm timing it with the best light possible and the best interest. So I'm keeping in mind everything surrounding the landscape. There's a lot of elements to consider. Definitely like maybe 20 minutes later it won't be as appealing, and this is what based on what I see, this is what I'm realizing. I definitely do like this composition better than the earlier one. I think sometimes get closer to your subject is much better than being further away. Don't be afraid to come closer and fill your frame with it. Yeah. Quite happy with the shot. The lighting looks really nice now across the fjord. It's definitely looking nice in the back of the camera. I'm just getting a little bit of glow from the last bit of sun over on the peaks on the other side. Just add a little bit of interest, so definitely make it worthwhile. And yeah, I do love going for long exposure. I think 15 seconds is really nice to give it that extra edge and makes it look more dreamy. What I'm gonna do is move a few steps this way, and just photograph one of the boulders and the scene. I think it might be interesting. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna move, but I think this picture is really nice. Nothing is gonna beat it in terms of getting a better shot. But I'm gonna try it while the light's still good. Have a bit of fun with that. Why not? Well, both shots are really interesting in terms of composition and subject, and I think these are some of my favorite photographs that I shot since a long time, so I'm pretty happy to be getting something today and actually redeeming myself a little bit. Yeah, I wasn't sure I was gonna get any good photos but I feel good. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer, the one between the two rocks or the one with the one rock off to the side, kind of in my bottom right of the frame. So I do quite like both, but definitely it's hard to pick a winner out of the two. So right now, being it's my last night here, I'm gonna stick it out for about, half an hour and see if I get some better pictures, maybe more color in the sky. It's hard to leave this place because you never know what the light's gonna do. When I made the plan yesterday to do that big hike, I should have done it today rather than yesterday when I had the energy for it. But yeah, it's alright because the spark's not going anywhere and I'm gonna come back. But definitely this is the conditions that I want whenever, especially when you're doing a big hike. It's really disappointing when you go up and you don't find the conditions that you like, and then you just come back down. If it wasn't for the workout and just keeping a positive look on things, it's definitely a bummer. But at least today I feel like I am getting at least a better conditions today for photography, and that makes up for the fact that I didn't get any good pictures yesterday or this morning. Definitely this makes me happy. Thank you guys for watching along, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for videos from my next place, which is going to be Gaspesie National Park. I'm going there for 3 nights as well, and gonna do some mountains, hopefully some wildlife if I find moose there. The last time I was there I had a nice encounter with a moose.
Hopefully I can get another one, but you never know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series of these videos from this park, from Saguenay Fjord National Park. And yeah, on to the next one.